Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Red White Humans. This is an aggro version of the deck with a very low curve, a whole lot of 1 and 2 drops, and we are playing Spider-punk, or the card that on MTGO stands in for Spider-punk. It's an identical copy, has all the same stats and everything. It's called Kraza, the Swarm as 1, but it's 1 colorless, 1 red, and you get a 2/1 creature, legendary spider human hero. So importantly, human, as is the theme with this deck. And it has Riot. This creature enters with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. Other spiders you control have Riot. That doesn't matter. Spells and abilities can't be countered. That does matter. Damage can't be prevented. That really matters in a time of One Ring. So this is legendary. We've got 3 of them in the deck. We've also got the legendary Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. Seneschal? I have no idea what that means, but it's a cool sounding word. And this creature is pretty awesome. So it's been around for a while. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains trample until end of turn. And whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So it's a card advantage engine for 1 colorless, 1 red, and it's a 2/2 power. Pretty awesome card. And putting +1/+1 counters on creatures is going to be a recurring theme in this deck because we have another legend, Urdnan, Dromoka Warrior, and he enters, he's a 1 colorless, 1 white mana, 1/1, but when he enters, he can put a +1/+1 counter on any target creature, and then whenever you attack, target attacking creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains first strike until end of turn, but if that creature has 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it gains double strike until end of turn instead. Double strike is pretty powerful, and we have lots of ways of putting +1/+1 counters on creatures. Zach Fair, a 1 white mana 0/1 from the Final Fantasy set. He's a legendary creature, human soldier. He enters with a +1/+1 counter on him, and then sacrifice Zach Fair for pay 1 colorless mana. Target creature you control gains indestructible until the end of turn. Put Zach Fair's counters on that creature, and it has stuff about attaching equipment. You can ignore that. We don't play equipment in this deck. In fact, we don't play any non-creature spells in the entire main deck. The only non-creature spell actually is Chrome Mox, and that is to accelerate a little bit because we have to respect the fact that this is not modern, this is legacy, and it's a lightning fast format. You need to be able to do something consequential turn 1. What is consequential? Well, maybe putting down an Esper Sentinel that'll tax your opponent's draws, or tax your opponent's plays. Guided Souls, perhaps the best 1-drop ever printed for white. And we also have Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, whom we can potentially put out turn 1, who really slows the game down for our opponents, but does not affect us at all. Again, other than Chrome Mox, we have 0 non-creature spells in our deck. We were able to play Cavernous Souls because every single creature in our deck, all 40 of them, are humans. We've got Witch Enchanter as our mana source / way to clear problematic permanents like Ensnaring Bridge. And often we're just going to be playing this as a land. It can also be put underneath a Chrome Mox. But what I love about playing Chrome Mox in this list is if we have a redundant copy of a legendary creature, we can just tuck that under a Chrome Mox and it's not a big deal. The other cards that are worth noting, Coppercoat Vanguard. This is a very good Lord effect. 1 colorless, 1 white for 2/2. Each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has ward 1. That ward is a big deal because we're going to be going really wide and we're going to be taxing our opponent's mana already through Thalia. And then we have Thalia's Lieutenant. When this enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each other human creature you control. And when another human enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on this. So basically every time you're casting creatures, this gets bigger. It's a 1 white mana, 1 colorless for a 1/1. I know, not super impressive stats, but hopefully we're not going to run into Bowmaster, which is kind of a nightmare for this deck because we do have a few X1s in the deck. But I'm hopeful that we can put a lot of counters on creatures and then just kill them very quickly, opponents very quickly with double strike. I've already got a video up where we did live the dream. Champion of the Parish coming down turn 1 as a 1 white mana, 1/1 that gets a +1/+1 counter whenever another human enters. So you play this turn 1, then turn 2 you play Urdnan. Urdnan is buffs this champion just from the champion's trigger, and he puts a +1/+1 counter on him, and then bam, this guy's attacking for 6 on turn 2. Pretty good. So we are also playing Wasteland. We've got a very low curve. I am playing one of each fetch that fetches white, and I'm playing a plains. We don't need to worry about Blood Moon that much because we have Chrome Moxes, but we also want to be able to reliably cast our 6 red cards. We also have 2 more red cards in the board. We've got 2 Magus in the Moon. This is really good against lands, and we should have access to it. It's also good against like a lot of the 12 post style decks. It's not GG by any means, but it should slow them down a little bit while we beat them down. And then we have 3 Containment Priests to respect Reanimator. We have 4 Deafening Silence just as a concession to this type of aggro deck being very weak against strategies that put a bunch of spells on the stack. And we have the 4 Plows in the sideboard, and we're playing 2 No Rods. I've opted for No Rod here instead of Clarion Conqueror just because it comes down faster. And even if there's like a Blood Moon out or something has happened where we just have a bunch of Wastelands in our hand, we can still cast this. So this is a great card that pretty much every sideboard should have, unless you're playing like no reserve lists like I am, or unless you yourself are an artifact heavy deck. That was a very exhaustive deck tech. I hope I've covered all the cards, and I'm excited to play a lot of cards that don't usually get played in Legacy. Let's do it. See you in round 1. Round 1, our opponent has been playing a lot of black-red aggro, which is very cool. It's not the best matchup, though, since we have a lot of creatures that can be pinged by a Bowmaster, and they're likely playing Bowmaster. So do we want to keep this hand? This is Guide of Souls into maybe nothing if they waste us. I'm going to hope they don't waste us. I don't like the redundant Thalia. Let's take a look. I mean, they could be on any number of decks. I'm just going to assume that Thalia does something positive. It definitely doesn't hurt us. It probably just eats a Bowmaster trigger. So let's go ahead and drop this. We're going to name human always. And we're going to play out our guide. Again, this is the weakness of the card. If we get wasted, we're really screwed here. Whereas if it were a plains, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. Bobble. Okay. I think Thalia might be good against a Bobble deck. They see a... Wait, Wasteland. Oh, they see a Wasteland from my hand. Oh, they're playing the Urza's Bobble. So they're playing probably at least 5 or 6 Bobbles. Red, Bolt. Okay. Well, I am... They get a card. I don't think we show them the Wasteland. I don't care actually which of these lands they hit. So they were playing 4 Urza's Bobble and 2 Mishra's Bobble in their list here. The chances of them having an Orcish Bowmaster are actually pretty high here. We could play the Coppercoat first just to give some ward. I don't hate that. We could also just Thalia and hope that they don't have a Bowmaster immediately, but if they do, it's so catastrophic. They only have 2 Wastelands in the deck, it looks like. By the way, if you're like, why are you looking at their deck? That's cheating. That is not cheating. This is publicly available information. I just want to reassure you that my opponent can easily do the same to me. One advantage to the way I play is I play like basically a totally different deck every turn, every time. So with the amount of... they have 16 spells in their deck plus these artifacts. I think I am going to go ahead and go with this because if I could slow down like a Corey Steelcutter, that's good. If they just ping this, I actually have another one, so it's not that big of a deal. I think there's a high chance that they ping it, but I don't really care because I'm not going to be drawing cards. It's just a one-time 2-for-1. All right, and they may have a Corey in hand. Do they have any flash threats? I don't believe so. So this Timeline Color, which is a really cool card, by the way, from the new space set, it doesn't have haste. Or it does have haste, but it doesn't have flash, is what I mean to say. So I think what we do here is we go ahead and play this out. And I'm just going to stick the Coppercoat first and see how they want to react to that. Ooh, actually, hang on. I think I am going to go ahead and lead with the champion. Because, I mean, they're going to ping one of these. Yeah. And technically, they could have, like, Daze in their deck or a Force. Like, I don't think they... I think they're almost certainly playing the list they were playing earlier. Now I'm going to do the Coppercoat. And they're... almost certainly just going to Bowmaster here. But this does proc this. Okay, yeah, we got motion for Bowmaster here. They're going to get a basic swamp. Oh, Fatal Push. Well, that's not that bad. Okay, and this gets this out of Bowmaster range, so we're fine. I definitely could have attacked. I didn't think that they would push there. Maybe I should have attacked just to... But if I attack, there's not actually any real risk. I think it was a punt to not attack. Because this may come down to damage. It's like an aggro on aggro matchup. Molten Collapse. Well, yeah, this itself does not have... Okay, what is this? Spell Bomb. That doesn't affect us negatively. I think I'm just going to go ahead and... Oh, wow. This is pretty good. I think I just settle into casting one spell per turn. If I go ahead and Dromoka, this becomes... This hits them for 8. I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep them off mana because they have a very nasty card in their deck called Pyrogoyf. I think it's worth doing this first because it just hits them for 8 and that seems good. Okay, they're at 10. They can easily ping this and then just chump. I'm really hyped to get Spider-punk on the stack here. They are drawing a card. That is good because that's less mana that they'll have access to here. They scooped. Being on the play in the aggro mirror. Good feels. All right, so this is definitely a plow matchup. And we're taking out our Thalias. Any other changes we want to make? I don't think so. Yeah, like this is a very optimal version of the deck in my humble opinion. Like we've got extra removal. Yeah. I mean, really, we just have this as removal. Our removal strategy is to put them in the abyss by attacking them with a must-block creature. Okay, so let's take a look at this hand. This is a plow hand, which immediately makes me like it. Because they do have, like, Barragoyf in their deck, which is a catastrophe. Actually, they don't have Barragoyf in their deck. Wow. I think Barragoyf would be really strong against us, but they're playing, like, really low curve stuff. Very aggressive. Amp Raptor, I think that might be why they're not playing Barragoyf, because they really do want to get this out. We want to empty our hand as fast as we can. So what I think we're going to do here is... Yeah, I may just want to Spider-punk immediately. Yeah, Plateau into Spider-punk, and then Thalia's Lieutenant can buff Spider-punk further, and then we're hitting... Because I'll definitely put the +1/+1 counter on this. Yeah, let's see what they do, but I like this hand. Zach Fair is a totally fair thing to put under this Chrome Mox, considering we're already going to be at 2 mana, and we don't have an Urdnan. Urdnan's definitely the best reason to have Zach Fair in your deck. And we don't have any card selection or anything. There's no guarantee we'll draw an Urdnan. Scalding Tarn, Mountain. DRC. Okay, no problem. So we do have 2 options. One is I could just plow this and then stick a Zach Fair, which is not that bad. I do want to get rid of this. I mean, it is card selection. So I'm going to grab a Plateau here. And I'm just going to go ahead and plow first things first. Now I will go ahead and Mox. Put one of these lieutenants under it. And I could have done this in a different order and double lieutenanted. I'm aware of that. But this is a pretty painful thing to kill because this is just like a 1 mana for 1 mana. It doesn't feel good to be... Okay, that's fine. Therapy. Okay, this is bad news. But we did get the second Thalia's Lieutenant out of our hands, so it may not be that bad. But they are very close to Delirium. I'm not that worried about dying. Thalia's Lieutenant is probably pretty scary for them, but I can't, it's not actually that big of a deal. It does grow, but it doesn't, it's vulnerable to Bowmaster. They named Thalia there, which is not in my deck. Okay. And they didn't have a Mox or a Bobble to trigger this. Okay, so we could go ahead and just Thalia's Lieutenant and put this... I mean, damage can't be prevented. That doesn't actually matter to me. But then we have literally nothing in our hand. But what I'm worried is they have a Bowmaster. No, there's no real reason to use this Chrome Mox. I didn't put a Surveil land in the deck. If I play this out, our opponent knows our hand exactly. But and there is Inti in the deck that can discard this, but I would probably just discard this. I'll play this out. I think I'm just going to Thalia's Lieutenant here, and it will most likely eat a Bowmaster, but I'll be attacking for more. And let's say hypothetically they do try to kill this. What I can do is I can sack this and put the counters on this, and this is more powerful than Zac Fair. This will keep growing as we play more. This is the Bowmaster, and we'll see how they target. So we can make it indestructible and just put the counters on it. I do like doing that. I think I'm going to do that, and then they can't... yeah, let's grab a plateau here. Be-doop. Indestructible. Okay, so they get their ping. They still get their dude. This is a 3-3, but again, it's going to grow. They probably sack this to take our Spider-punk. It looks like they're doing that. They get another Surveil. Our hand is going to really suck. We're really going all in on this Thalia's Lieutenant here. And it's possible that, like, maybe I should have kept Zac Fair around because he could have saved a more worthy creature in the future. But, like, pretty much everything in my deck is just these creatures that don't do a lot other than attack, right? Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to attack. I'm going to keep pushing damage. Like, we're winning the race, technically, until they achieve Delirium, which is probably a few turns away. I would love for them to, like, Thoughtseize us here. Or, like, if this is a Bolt... I think we just lost the game. I'm trying to think how we could get back into this. Because they do have Delirium. They're attacking for a lot. Inti's our card advantage engine. But actually, like, Inti doesn't draw cards. He just exiles. So if we ripped an Inti right now, that might work. Guide of Souls. I'm going to keep playing the game. But I think we're really far behind. But this does gain life if we draw more creatures. If they don't have removal for it. Their deck has a ton of removal. I think our deck probably has a better anti-combo matchup. Maybe there actually does because they have Thoughtseize and stuff. Sure. They're going to be able to get both of our Mox in, unfortunately. But they may name something else. Thinking, like, who cares about your Mox? They did name Mox. Okay. There was no strategic value to playing that out, so it's not like they got me. Okay. They have a second Bowmasters, or they wouldn't be doing this. I will just take it. Yeah, I mean, they could be pretending. Damage can't be prevented. I mean, I should play this. I'm just going to play it. I'll get the +1/+1 counter. They can't respond. It enters with it. So I'll take the +1/+1 counter. That procs this. I'm not going to attack into open Bowmasters. That would be foolhardy. I'm going to chill. And now they'll play the Bowmasters instead probably to get some more material on the board. Or they'll just hold it. I mean, they may not have it. They could totally be leveling me. If you're not familiar with the term, basically like... Okay, so this is probably... Yeah, that's fine, actually. Guide of Souls is much more important here to me. But I'm going to die very quickly here, unfortunately. I actually think like maybe I'm supposed to block the Orcish Bowmasters just in case they're bluffing. But why would they bluff about that? That doesn't make any sense because they Bowmaster ping. They've got two creatures. I've traded. I mean, I'm denying them a damage. I guess I'm going to do it but I feel very confident that they have it in hand. Okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and go to the next game. Like, show me the Bowmasters. There's no way I'm recovering from this. We have tons of clocks, so that's why I'm like playing it out. But yeah, I was correct. But I don't think we had much of a choice there. It's not going to let me draw. It never lets me draw. It's just like, why do you even show the draw bar button if it's never going to work? All right, let's go to sideboarding. I mean, like, yeah, I don't think we were going to draw anything relevant. This deck configuration is fine on the play as well as the draw. Let's do it. There's no way that Thalia is correct to have in. I understand they have a lot of like non-creature spells, like probably 20, but with Bowmasters, it completely negates the value. So this is a no-lander. Let's mulligan it. This is a very mediocre hand. However, we are on the play. So where I think we go is we actually want them to waste us because it uses up their tempo. So I'll just put back a Wasteland. I doubt double Wasteland is going to be relevant here. Okay, and I want to get this out of Bowmaster range, so I'm going to go ahead and play it first. And I am going to play the plateau and invite them to waste me because I have a second colored mana source. Again, for all intents and purposes other than plowing, this is a colored mana source. So we both mulligan to 6, but they get their draw for turn, whereas I don't. So they're technically up a card already. Okay. Nethergoyf. All right. It's a good card. Respectable card. Right. I'm just going to double guide here. These guys are so good. They see one another. All right. Let's go for 3. This might be the only attack we get before this gets big enough that it's a wall. But I'm happy to race them when I'm on the play. DRC. All right. They can come in for a hug if they'd like. That is fine. I don't think you're going to successfully race me. I'm also not going to fall for, Fatal Push to like grow Goyf. Yeah, they do have Fatal Push. Are they targeting this? They are. That's good for me because I'm about to be able to grant flying to this. Yeah, I'll take the 2. That's fine. Had I blocked there, I would have definitely lost one of them, and I don't want to lose either of them. They're so good. All right, let's go ahead and start here. I could just do both here, empty my hand, get a ton of energy. I think that's actually the right play because we get this out of range, and then I can waste them next turn. I'm not too worried about what they're likely to do here. All right, and now they're going to almost certainly have to target our champion because he puts a big target on his back. So let's go ahead and attack here. I will attack with both because I don't think they're going to block. And I'm not worried about them doing damage to me. I'm going to do damage to them way faster than they're going to do damage to me. And I'm gaining life as well. Let's go ahead and buff one of these. We're going to be taking 6 here. It's pretty aggressive. Next turn we waste. They waste. If they waste us, it's totally a bad play, frankly. Like, I can't imagine a world in which it makes sense to waste us. Okay, and they agree. Amp Raptor. This can generate some value for sure. Let's see what they get. They get a DRC. Okay, they've got a pretty big board presence, but they're pretty far. Okay, yeah, that doesn't help them get Delirium. The problem is they don't have Delirium. All right, and now we just smash like crazy. We drew this, which is great. Play this out. This grows. We're like so far ahead. Our opponent just scoops. Yeah, we were going to waste them too. Great. If you'll note, like both of those games were decided by who was on the play. Round 2, our opponent, like me, plays something different almost every time. I'm going to mulligan this 5-lander. This hand, we definitely don't need 2 of these. This requires us to draw a land. Or just a bunch of 1-drops. We do have enough 1-drops that I feel comfortable keeping this. I don't want to mull any deeper. I'll just put one of these spider monkeys back. Whatever they're called. Kraza. The Swarm has 1. It is really confusing, but I do have to applaud Daybreak Games for at least getting them on. Even if, Marvel was like stingy about the intellectual property rights. Okay. And just like that, we're fine. So I am going to guide. And very happy I got this hand. Our opponent's likely on Depths. That's the most common Lush Portico deck. Karakas. That actually is pretty impactful against our deck. Elvish Reclaimer. That is a card that we will want to get rid of. Unfortunately, we don't have a means of getting rid of it. If our opponent has a plow, we're really far behind. They are down to 4 cards, but what they can do is they can assemble Dark Depths, and we don't have any counterplay, unfortunately. Okay, Thalia is not going to be coming out because she is a legend. So let's go ahead and Thalia's Lieutenant here, and then I can just attack in for 2. Is that right? I think it's correct to Copper Coat first. Okay, and they are going to plow our guide, so we don't get the life, I guess. That's fine. This was their window to do so. All right, and next turn we're just gonna keep jamming Thalia's Lieutenants. I don't think we're gonna win. The Karakas is just so strong, and they probably only have 1 of these in their deck, but they managed to draw it, so it's good. Oh, and we may not even be able to do anything. We don't have a second basic in the deck. There was no option to fetch a basic there. Zach Fair is actually something we can cast, although he does get bounced back to hand. I'm trying to think if there's any advantage to casting him. I'll keep up. I'm trying to think of what they could do. Wait, they could block and then they could fetch. They block, they activate this, then they get a fetch, and then they fetch, and then they kill our dude. So unfortunately, Elvish Reclaimer, the best green like one drop ever printed, basically, in my humble opinion, it's completely walling us. Just this one green drop completely stops an aggro deck like ours. Like what our deck wants to play against is not aggro mirrors. What our deck wants to play against is, like, I guess like creatureless control type decks, which are not a big part of the meta. Yeah, like because this will be big enough, I just have to chill, and they're going to be able to assemble the Doomsday machine here. They don't activate? That's crazy. Why wouldn't you activate there? They could at least go get what is it called? Flagstones of Tarkor? I don't know what it's called. Yeah, you want to pay the ward? No. Okay. Now, I don't understand why they didn't activate. Oh, I have another one. Okay. This is going from bad to worse very quickly. I'll just side out all of our legendary creatures. I'm not sure what I can bring in. I don't necessarily need to side them out. Okay, so this is actually okay here because at least we're going to be able to trade with Coppercoat, because it'll only be attacking for 3. It won't be able to trade. Okay. So these get a little bit bigger, but we don't have good attacks. Zach Fair can't attack. Yeah, because these are 3/4 functionally. So we'll just wait and see how they activate. Okay, and they are activating now. But they do have to respect the fact that we could have Plow in our deck, even though it's in our sideboard. Flagstones. Okay, so they're opting to go big as opposed to try to Merit Lagus, which is good. Because really our only chance here is that we can somehow get enough Thalia's Lieutenant type triggers that we can get bigger than these. Oh, what does this do for us? I think we want to immediately use it, but it is legendary. So we're not actually, they can just bounce it when we go to attack. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Lieutenant again. Maybe they don't realize Zach Fair's a legend. Okay, so now we have a 4/4. They could double block, but we at least kill one of them. This, you have to pay mana to activate. I think I'm going to attack with 3 of these. This game does not get better for us, and they're going to do some tricks, and we're probably going to lose one or more of these creatures, and we just have to accept that that's what's going to happen. But we're not going to win hanging back. They will just continue to value. Okay, and here this is 4/4. They can just Karakas it. But they do have to pay an extra mana to Karakas it. So they can't both Karakas and activate Reclaimer in the same turn cycle with their current mana. And I think they do want to use Flagstones this turn to go get 2 more mana. However, Flagstones, that Plains comes in tapped. The land that they get also enters tapped. I learned this because I was at a tournament and somebody cheated against me, and then I uploaded the video and people were like, hey, those lands from Elvish Reclaimer aren't supposed to come into play tapped, which my opponent most definitely knew, but they were just like fetching Wastelands every turn and wasting me, and I didn't read the card. I still won handily, but it was frustrating. It was frustrating because, I didn't have to lose that way. Or I guess I could have won even harder, is what I'm trying to say. I'll just put it all on one of them since you're going to buff it. I'm no fool. I know how fetch lands work. Okay, they're going to go ahead and do it now. That's 3 lands in the graveyard. And again, I just want to emphasize, we knew this was coming. There's no surprise here. They may phase it out. Sajiri step. Oh, pro. Okay, well, that saves that, but I'm still going to kill the other one. You missequenced. Because I haven't assigned damage yet. So I could have assigned damage. Wait, maybe there was no window for... Yeah, because damage doesn't go on the stack anymore. But this is... Yeah, this is going to die. And my creature's going to die too. But you're going to take 4, or take 8. And I did kill one of your Elvish Reclaimers. So, I'm doing the best I can. They have tons of mana. Yeah, I guess I said my opponent screwed up, but I don't believe there was a way that they could have done it. This is a beating. This is how we die. Yeah, and now they can just do insane, disgusting stuff to us. It is worth noting this can only sacrifice plains and forests. That's fine. Karakas that. Okay. So if we draw another one, well, we can't. We need to draw a land. Let's concede. Yeah, we're not going to catch up with this. This is a very bad matchup for us. Okay, so let's bring in the plows. Let's cut. We're definitely cutting Thalia. I'd love to cut more, but I think it's an aberration that they managed to find that card. Magus is good, but it's also a huge liability. So what happens is they can just go get Merit Lage when Magus is out. Then they kill Magus, and then they get a 20/20 immediately. I don't think that comes in this matchup. This is more for the Karnforge type matchups, but I wanted to address that in case people are watching are wondering why I didn't bring in Magus here against the 27 land based aggro strategy. I just genuinely don't think it belongs here. You could bring this in for sure. They do have Green Sun Zenith in their deck, and we could surprise them with this. I think that may actually be better than Spider-punk. And also, they're going to be cutting us off land. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. Spider-punk doesn't really do a lot. Because, damage can't be prevented, but, they're phasing our creature out, which basically happens before the damage even goes on the stack. This has an ETB trigger, which is beneficial. This does not have we could definitely cut this too, but there's nothing to bring in. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. And they do play Mox Diamond, and they play a couple artifacts, but I don't think it's worth bringing in Null Rod. I think people overboard Null Rod for sure. And I used to too, but now I don't. I am enlightened. Okay, so this Witch Enchanter is actually potentially good. However, it may be a while before we can play it. Dromokata doesn't do anything. There's a good chance that they're not even going to cast any non-creature spells. About half their deck is creatures, and the other half is Green Suns and stuff like that. I mean, it's possible that they... Yeah, I think we just Esper. And then, as long as Esper sticks around, it is going to get bigger, which means they have to pay progressively more mana for the ability. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And then if they waste me a lot, that's fine. I've got plenty of stuff coming. And if we get up to Witch Enchanter mana, they do have some cards that we can target with Witch Enchanter. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you think that this is a loose keep and that I should have mulliganed. And your reasoning as to why I should have mulliganed. This is not a super aggro hand, though. It's pretty control-y. But Coppercoat, Urdnan. Okay, that's basically the scariest card they can have, unfortunately. Okay, so let's say hypothetically we Urdnan here. This gets first strike, and it's got a +1/+1 counter on it, so it will kill Elvish Reclaimer. So they can't block. I think I'm here for that. And then I think I am going to go ahead and just put Witch Enchanter under here. I think it's just going to be too long, and we need to be aggressive here. So I'm going to play this out. We could instead Coppercoat, but again, this dies in combat with this, but maybe that's not a big deal, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. Coppercoat. Then we attack, and if they want to trade, that's great for us because this isn't that great against their deck anyway. There's no way from a tapped out position they're going to be able to do anything here. So swing in. And then next turn, I will do that. I think the ward is more valuable, though. And as soon as these are 3/4s, then we can't attack anymore, and it's very sad. Okay, they are going to activate. If they get a fetch, it's still not enough. Okay, that's fine. I'll just pay. I'll pay, and then I'll attack them for 6. And then they can start wasting me, which is sad, but Dromaka is not worth me losing this onboard presence. Plow's great. So if they clear one of our creatures somehow, then we just plow this thing. And I would love to plow it, but I don't want to lose my creatures. I think it's highly likely that they pay, and then they go fetch a Wasteland, and they waste, so I lose a creature. Okay. Crop rotation would be brutal. We would get to draw a card. If I were them, I just focus on gradually removing my lands so I don't have a creature presence anymore. But I don't know what's in their hand. Another one. Okay, that's scary. Okay, and now, unfortunately, I still think it's correct to just pay. They activate and these become 3/4s. Yeah, it's pretty devastating. We could let one go. And then we have plow up, so we could plow one of these. I think that's probably necessary, unfortunately. So I will let that one go. Oh, it's so sad to do this, but I'm definitely keeping Coppercoat around. Yeah, and I'll keep this guy around. Unfortunately, we don't have good attacks. Oh, that's so good. That's a very important draw. So now we can remove probably the Yavimaya. So I'm going to wait and see what they do here. Once they activate, I can plow. But if I attack in, then they can block and then do the thing. Yeah, so I just have to chill. So I'm going to set a stop here, and I'm going to set a stop here. Actually, I am definitely going to... I'm going to pass priority and see what they do. They're almost certainly going to activate. Once they activate, I can plow. If they don't activate, they're crazy. Okay, and they activate. I'm going to go ahead and plow now before they can do anything to protect. This will inform their decision. They get 3 life instead of just 1, but they were always going to be able to activate. Now they get a thing. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is, if I waste this, they still have enough mana to activate this, but they have to... let's think about this. Like, it's probably unlikely that they can get this back. They may have Loam in their deck. They probably have the green creature Ramanop Excavator. Yeah, my instinct is just to get rid of the Tabernacle. I don't think going after their mana is correct here. And if I don't do it now, like, yeah, of course they don't have to pay because it's not in play. But if they have the ability to activate it, they will. Yeah, I think I just need to do this. And if they get Ramanop Excavator, that's probably GG, unfortunately. 7 Safekeeper. Okay. That is not that big of a deal. Okay, they're activating, predictably. Let's see what they get. Just a Savannah. And then I think they're probably going to try to Dark Depths us. Because, they get Echoing Deeps. Oh, such a beating. All right. Well, you are a smart opponent. What can I say? And now I feel pretty dumb for having wasted them, but I did need to get, well, yeah. I'm going to do both of these. Yes, I'll pay for both of these. I mean, we could be holding back some stuff. Yes, I will pay. All right, come on. Oh, so sweet. All right, let's go ahead and name human here. I'm going to go white, this. All right, and we're just going to buff this because it taxes them. It's a 3-2 now. Now I'll just attack with both of these and do 5. I don't think we're winning, but we are doing something here. They can easily just start wasting us and taking away, so that gets first strike. Unfortunately, it's not double strike because this is just giving +1. It's not putting an actual counter on it. Okay, they take 9. They're at 9. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're still dead, but okay, they are paying. I mean, they are this is going to tax them a lot. Like we're going to start getting free cards. I think they can only wait so long. We don't have good attacks though, unfortunately. This 3-2, we need. What can we even draw here? Actually, should I keep this guy around? My instinct is to not even keep him around. It sucks. No, I can. I'm going to keep them all around. Let's see. What could I draw here, though? If I drew a plow, that would be the best thing, probably. But then they could activate the... Oh, they could just, sack something to keep it around. I think I just need to wait, and maybe I draw, a 1-drop that I can cast. But we're very much in a stalemate here. Definitely keeping this dude. All right. Can we draw... a land would be welcome. Which enchanter is a land? I'm just going to play it out. There's no, there aren't very many good targets in their deck. I will play it out and not pay the life. And we just have to chill. They're going to be able to do their thing and advance their game state. I don't think I've ever seen a version of this depths deck that plays Tabernacle. That's uncommon. Okay, they're getting rid of it here. So they've determined that they need to kill us. I think this is where we start getting depths. However that's pronounced. Okay, Thespian Stage. So this could happen right now. I don't think we have any recourse, unfortunately. Reliquary. That's pretty scary. It's an 8-8. I don't know how we win. Again, Plow doesn't do anything here. I think I'm scooping. Sorry, there's just no path to victory. I don't think there are any cards in my deck they can win from here. Yeah, because they can just do whatever they want, basically. Their entire deck is just a giant toolbox. Once they get Elvish Reclaimer online, the game's functionally kind of over. All right, see you in round 3. Round 3, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent. We've got a pretty good hand. I like the variety of legendary creatures in our hand. Our mana base has been very reasonable. I think we've only had to mull one time. Our opponent mulls to 5. This augurs poorly for us if they're on a combo deck. We're not ready for combo with this hand. But we do have the 4, like if they're on fast stack combo, we do have the 4 deafening silences in the sideboard. All right, it looks like we're up against Doomsday. They are going to personal tutor for Doomsday here. They do not have a lot of cards. Unfortunately, we don't have like a whoa, wait a second. So if they don't win immediately, champion into this can do a lot of damage very quickly. It can do 6 a turn cycle. I think we want to try to do that. We could hide the fact that we're playing red, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just hold this. I'm going to champion to the parish, and I think they're probably going to be able to win pretty quickly, but if they have like a brainstorm in hand, they could like Dark Ritual Doomsday and then brainstorm into their pile and potentially win very quickly. Okay, this goes and gets... I mean, Thalia does potentially mess up their deck a little bit, but Urdnan does damage a lot faster, so they're going to be at 9. Urdnan comes out, and we hit for 6. That might screw up their pile enough. Like if they're playing like Street Wraiths and stuff. I'm not going to count on Wasteland doing it. The other option is we just Thalia, because Thalia buffs this to 2 damage. We hit for 2. And then with Thalia out, the subsequent turn, Urdnan is lethal. I think Thalia is the play. And I think I'm even going to Witch Enchanter here just to hide the fact that I have Wasteland in case that changes their logic a little bit. We're going to have to get really lucky here, though. We're lucky that it's a turn 2 Doomsday and not a turn 1 Doomsday. It's possible that with Thalia, like if they're trying to win through Jace or something like that, that we can actually... that Thalia will be enough of a tax that they won't be able to win. Okay, so normally I do this thing. I call it Buffalo Chicken Dip FOP, which is like an BCD FOP, but I don't think it's worth bothering with. Like, we don't have a lot of options. Okay, if they daze this, it's pretty backbreaking. Zach Fair. Let's think about this. So Zach Fair and a Wasteland. That means they're taking 2 immediately. And we wasted them. Then maybe they take... Then we stick the Thalia the subsequent turn. I don't think it's as impactful as Thalia. They could absolutely have a daze here. Let's take a look. Actually, I can very easily determine whether they have a daze. They would never put daze in their pile. So if they have 3 dazes in exile, we don't need to worry about daze. 1, 2. I think they have a daze. I'm only counting 2 dazes. So I think the last card in hand is a daze, which means I do want to waste here. So I want to Zach Fair, but they could absolutely just daze that. I guess maybe that's a big enough setback if they have to daze this back to their hand that it gives me an extra turn cycle. I'm going to go ahead and waste first. It's more important that I kill this land. I guess I could take a look at the pile and see if they have LED in here, just like to see whether they're going to try to win next turn. I do see LED, so I think they're going to take a few turns to win. All right, and I just got news that my wife found our cat. She had been like missing all afternoon. We couldn't find her with our air tag. This is probably a daze. No? Okay. I mean, they may not have the days. They may just be playing 2 days, but it's extremely rare that I've played against Doomsday with less than 3 dazes. Like, they almost always play exactly 3 dazes. Okay, this is the Edge of Autumn. Street Wraith. Okay, and now they can win. They fetch. So they had a fetch land base pile. So I don't think playing Thalia would have mattered here. Edge of Autumn and Street Wraith don't actually use the stack, so Thalia wouldn't have done anything. They completely cleared their pile and they cast the Thassa's. All right. Now we know what we're up against. If we play out... Okay, so it becomes pretty hard for them to actually cast Doomsday if we play Deafening Silence. So I do think that comes in. Magus of the Moon is not bad against them because they need double blue, and they won't ever get double blue if Magus is out. Cards that don't matter. Spider-punk probably doesn't matter. I don't think... I mean, Urdnan could have been good there if we'd had a little bit more time, but we didn't. We have to be fast, but at the same time, we want to play cards that are impactful, and Esper Sentinel is impactful. I don't want to cut that for sure. But I'm thinking about reducing my overall curve. Inti, for example. It's also unlikely that they actually go after our creatures. So this board doesn't really matter. They could absolutely have like BR Aggro, and if they do, not a lot we can do about it, but Deafening Silence on turn 1 does make it harder for them to, like, they have to Dark Ritual that out. This could be good because it gives trample to trample through stuff. I don't believe there are any targets for Witch Enchanter, but it is part of our mana base. If we cut this, we're going down to 17 lands. I definitely could cut one. I think I actually cut this. Yeah, let's do that. We reduced our curve slightly, but we did add a 3-drop. I mean, this is pretty much the dream. Let's do this. So we Deafening Silence turn 1. Then we can waste them twice while deploying stuff. I love this. And this way, even if they have like the nuts, which is Dark Ritual and the Doomsday immediately, they're not going to be able to do it. It is worth noting that if they are on BR Aggro, though, they can Dark Ritual BR Aggro, and that will destroy us. But I'm going to definitely do this. It's not a lock. It's not like we're up against Storm when we stick this. They mold to 6. You'll note that every single, like, I don't have any double white creatures in my deck. I'm just very cognizant of having any colorless lands in your deck. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Ouchie. Deafening Silence. Please force this. If they force it, that means that it's good. If they let it through, then it means it probably won't do anything this game, unfortunately. It's kind of like a 1 white mana Hymn to Torok, but it's situational. Okay, Petal, that's your spell for turn. I mean, I'm still going to play the Wasteland just to deter them. Champion of the Parish is the right play first. I guess I could have done both of these, but I think Champion is more important just because Urdnan buffs it next turn. And then if they can go get a basic island. That's basically it. Or they can have a one-time use. I mean, technically they could, with the Lotus Petal, if they have a second one, they could Doomsday next turn. Okay, and they grabbed an island here, and they're casting their spell for turn, which is a Brainstorm. That's fine. So if they have a fetch, they can still get a perfect Brainstorm. But this is why this card is kind of weak, is like your opponent just does stuff on your turn. But like, again, white just doesn't have enough options for fast combo, so we had to play it. For a long time, I thought it was wrong to play this card, but I've kind of come around to like, yeah, you just kind of have to. They have 5 cards in hand. I don't think this LED is getting cracked anytime soon. I don't even think they wanted to draw it. Okay, there's a Delta. So we're just going to chill. I'm definitely hoping to Urdnan here and do some damage. We could actually Zac Fair and Urdnan, but we can't do both. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't get haste is the problem. So it gets, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and put Urdnan. And I do think that we want the waste up just to deny them the Surveil, tactically, rather than playing out Zac Fair. Or we could play out Esper Sentinel. Actually, I think we should play out Esper Sentinel here. So I do want to make sure that this doesn't get dazed. Okay. Now I am going to play this out. And again, if they want to daze it, that is fine. But it does a lot. If it comes in, they're taking a lot. Okay. And now we're going to hit them for 8. Oh, no. Oh, no. My wife came in and she said something to me and I accidentally clicked through my attack step. That's probably the game, unfortunately. I am sorry, my excellent friends. I don't have anything to say about that. That 8 life would be very consequential against Doomsday. So, yeah, I just don't have anything to say. Okay, and now they do have Doomsday, but they're going to take so much damage. They have to like basically win immediately, and they can only cast 1 spell a turn. I don't know that they can win. They're cracking down to 16 here. I imagine Doomsday is coming. They can pay the 1 mana to prevent us from drawing a card, but I don't think that's the big thing on their mind. Yeah, that is fine. I will draw a card. So I assume that they have like a Baragwave here or some sort of creature that they're going to cast. Okay, we get the Mox. Not the best card. And this might be Shieldred, but I can overpower Shieldred. Oh, Quantum Riddler. Yeah, that's pretty damn big. I mean, he will die to my champion. Okay. Quantum Riddler, very good card. All right, so I am going to play a Wasteland. I'm going to play Zach Fair. This is going to grow this. Now I'm going to go ahead and attack them with this. It is not a lethal threat, but I can just move the +1/+1 counter over to this. I can do it after blocks. If they block here. Okay, and I will just go ahead and do this so that they... I mean, this will die anyway. Actually, there was no need to do that. So, actually, yeah, it would have died anyway. There was no need to do that. That dies. I am going to double waste them. Okay, and they are like seriously crimped on mana here, and we will kill them next turn. We're attacking for 12, 13, 14 plus if I draw another creature. Yeah, okay. So, again, that would have been a very like margin-free win had I not screwed up there. And I'm just going to keep the deck exactly as it is. Yeah, I'm not going to bring in Plow. I'm just going to hope to race. I don't expect them to be able to play out Quantum Riddler. This hand, it's got Esper Sentinel, which is really good. We can also cast it uncounterably. We can waste them. I think we do this. It's possible that we could like blow up something with Witch Enchanter later. I don't know. I don't want to mull this. I mean, them giving us cards isn't like super impactful. We could go ahead and try to... We could definitely do better than this 4-lander. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mull. Okay, and this is better. This is definitely better. So I'm going to keep here for sure. And then I'm going to put back Witch Enchanter, I think. Yeah, and then what we're going to do... Oh, I should have actually maybe put back Wasteland. Okay. Well, we're going to be able to cast these uncounterably, which is nice. Dahlia is pretty important. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to play out the Esper Sentinel first since it's disruptive. Is that correct? I mean, I might want to put out the champion first just because it does more damage. But Guided Souls actually does the most damage over the next few turn cycles. Yeah, I'm going to play out Guided Souls. No, I'm going to play out this. Because there is a high chance that they're going to like be cantripping or doing something that gets me cards. I don't think they're ever going to pay for this against my deck. And drawing lands would be good because I'm going to run out of lands to play turn 3. It's unlikely I draw additional lands because my curve is so low. I'm barely playing any lands. The fetch, they may just Quantum Riddler here. Personal Tutor, okay. Are they going to pay? They probably should. Yeah, I mean, I would pay. I don't know what's in their hand, but like, yeah, giving me cards, you don't want to do that. Okay, so they're going to get Doomsday here, I'm pretty sure. What we're going to do here is we're going to stick to Thalia, and that will tax the heck out of their Dark Ritual, but they'll still be able to cast it. But it'll crimp everything else they want to do. But I definitely do need to play this out. This is uncounterable. Now we'll hit them for 1. We're probably going to lose, unfortunately. Because this tax effect is not enough. They can still Dark Writ. They can't... Okay, maybe they can't cast Doomsday now. I'm not crazy. They did put Doomsday on top, right? Reveals Edge of Autumn. Okay, interesting. So they actually went and got Edge of Autumn instead in anticipation of us wasting them, which makes sense. So I think what I do here is I'm going to go ahead and play the Copper Coat, which doubles the damage output. And it also makes the other things they do more expensive. And we're just going to try to do a traditional aggro attack. All right, that's 5 damage. It's a pretty big chunk. They have to use Misty here. They're probably going to Surveil. Okay. So if they Doomsday, they have to win immediately, basically, because of the amount of damage we have on the table. They've been a force. Not super useful against Cavernous Souls. Okay, now they have the land, and now they can play the Doomsday, but it leaves them at 5, and they're dead on board if they can't win immediately, and I don't think they can with just LED. They would need to cycle several times. They could, okay, so they could, I think they can still win. So what they do is they pay 4, they Doomsday, then they cycle. Yeah, they're going to do it. I can just F6 here through the turn. And then what they can do is they can cycle through a lot of stuff here using their life and using the Edge of Autumn. And then with the LED mana, they can play out the thing. They only need to get 3 cards deep into their deck. I'm pretty sure they can win. They won't be able to cast cantrips, but they only need to get 3 cards deep into their deck. And they just, and they will have the life to use it twice. So if they don't win here, I think it's because they screwed up, but I think there's like a deterministic line here. And I'm just going to wait and see what they do. If we get to attack, we win. All right, and they have won, unfortunately. Yeah, I think this is probably like a 50-50 matchup, but they take the win. Round 4, we're on the play against a likely control gamer. Ah, man, this is like, you definitely don't want these kinds of hands when you have 17 lands in your deck. 18, 17? I think we have 17. Yeah, 17 lands. We've been flooded in multiple, but, you know, just variance. I can't keep this. This is actually really good because we have something to do turn 1, turn 2. If they're on a kind of like Beanstalk type list, it will actually be really good to have access to this. I think the weakest card in our hand, given the hand, is probably Urdnan. So I think I'm going to put him back because I would definitely like to guide into Thalia's Lieutenant. I mean, Urdnan is more interesting than Thalia's Lieutenant, but it does grow as we cast other things. I might guide into Inti, and then I attack and I immediately proc it, and then we could just discard the Witch Enchanter. I think I'm going to do that. So I'll put back Urdnan. Do I want to put back Urdnan? Because this puts +1/+1 counters. I think I'm going to put back the non-combo cards, and we're going to try to combo them. I'm going to keep the Witch Enchanter just in case they have Wastelands. They mold a 6, too. They mold a 5. Oh, no. You're a control gamer. Don't be a combo gamer, please. So I am definitely going to plateau here just because I want to be able to cast Inti. And they're probably going to think I'm like energy, which I'm not really energy. I mean, technically, this is an energy card. Please don't waste me. Vault. Oh, no. They're on freaking Saga Storm. Well, this doesn't hit anything. But we're probably dead. All right. Is this better? We can't prevent damage. I don't think they're going to be able to prevent damage. I'm not going to waste in this turn cycle. I think I play this out just for respect. Like for them being able to do like a baby tendrils or something like that against us. That would not be good. So actually, we're never going to be able to use this card, the ability, this turn cycle. I guess if it was a Mox, we could use it. And that actually might make sense if we find a Mox off of this. So I believe this immediately gets a +1/+1 counter and gains trample. This is my first time to ever use this card, but it looks cool. Yeah, I'll discard Witch Enchanter. I don't expect Black Saga Storm to interact with our land. So we'll target our Guided Souls. He becomes a 2/3. Now we're attacking for 5 next turn, most likely. I can't cast that, unfortunately. But they take 2. We already had an answer. Like, I felt comfortable discarding this because we already had an answer to Urza Saga with this Wasteland. Therapy. There is 0 chance they're going to name either of these cards. Well, it's not 0, but it's like, I would say 0.001% or something like that. Like, it would be extremely heads up for them. What? How did they know? How did they know? That is the most soul read ever. I'm not streaming. They're not sniping. Like, I want to be clear. They are just incredibly skilled. Oh, okay. That's nice. So I do get to play a land next turn. Wow. That's freaking insane. How do they know to name this extremely like jumpstart card? It's like, oh my goodness. Are we dead now? Double Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, no, we're not dead yet. I am going to waste our land just to cut them off initial mana here. Okay, well, I'll play the land. Well, I actually think I just let this go and waste them, frankly. Like, yeah, it's got to be. Like, we have to interact with them. Well, wait. Yeah, it was already in play, so I can still use this mountain. And I guess I could attack first. There's no benefit to... yeah, there's actually no benefit. Just in case I draw something that I can use here. I can launder this Cavern of Souls. Or loot it away. Okay, so I'll discard this. Man, this is such a good card. What a cracked card. This time I'll target this, I guess. I mean, this is definitely going to be what they go after if they kill something. Chrome Mox. Yeah, not going to be casting that. I could have like hasted this. Yeah, but I think it was worth it to see if we could get something good. I will just get the +1 counter here. That buffs that. Next creature, we're going to be flying in. They're going to take a lot of damage, but we might be dead. Okay, we got lucky. I think that like wasting the vault was probably impactful there. They might have Dark Writ. Okay, this is great because we can definitely discard this Chrome Mox. I'll attack with all creatures. I'm going to dump. Man, this card is so good. What the heck? This card is insane. I love it. Oh, yeah, let's just target this again, I guess. Man, we're doing so much damage too. And we got a Thalia. That's probably GG right there. Holy cow. Yeah, they scooped the Thalia reveal. They were going to take 6, 7, 8, 9. They would be a 4. Wow, that was insane. All right, so No Rod comes in for sure. It's very good against their deck. Deafening Silence comes in. They're a Storm deck. Cards that come out. I think Zach Fair is pretty meh. But he does hit hard and fast. It's so crazy that they knew to name this. Maybe they've watched like one of my videos. Because I play with him in one of my videos. There's no... Like, I didn't reveal him, did I? Oh, wait. They freaking Duras me. I'm sorry. You're like shouting at me. Yeah, they Duras me. That's how they knew. I forgot about it because there wasn't anything to Duras, but they didn't get to look at my hand. I'm so sorry. Sorry. You're probably just like so frustrated. Like, why? Why are you acting surprised? They just Duras you. Sorry. Okay. So this definitely stays. Guy is okay. I think Zach Fair is pretty meh. I mean, countering spells. I think this probably doesn't matter. I'd be stunned if they play the One Ring. They might play the One Ring though. They're definitely not going to be going after me. I think I take a Zach Fair. I'm going to take a Zach Fair. But if I take a Zach Fair, does it make sense to have Urdnan in my deck? I can still Urdnan off the other stuff. Zach Fair is in the deck because he's cheap. Actually, I could take out Urdnan too. I'm removing a lot of my clock. I think I should cut a land. No, I'll just cut a Mox. No, is that right? I mean, I might need to power this out turn 1. I'm going to keep the Mox in. Yeah, I'll just do this. Like, we have fewer threats, but I don't want to, like, have to mulligan a hand with a Null Rod, which is the dream card against them. All right, this is an insane hand. We don't have white for guide for Deafening Silence, but I'm going to keep this. I'm going to pretend I'm thinking very hard about it, though. Yeah, like, this Deafening Silence is not going to do anything here, unfortunately. If they turn 1 Urza Saga, I probably will just waste it because that represents constructs, which we can't really beat. Hopefully they don't like spin our hand away. That would really suck because if we kept 7. Oh no, they are going to spin our hand away. They wouldn't play that out with nothing unless they're just trying to turn. Yeah, they're just trying to turn on Metalcraft. Okay, they can take one of these 2 cards. And then what's the last card? How do they win with 1 card? Interesting. And they chose the wrong one. Like, I can't even cast that. Yeah, I'm just going to guide in the guide. I think we win. Like, I think they just kept a hand that is not good. They might have the Cabal Therapy for next turn to take our Null Rod. And they were just hedging against us drawing a Plains here. But, yeah, I mean, that would have been good. So that's probably, like, I bet you the last card is Cabal Therapy. They just didn't want to use the pedal for it. Or another discard spell. All right, that's it. That was a quick round. We'll go to the final round. We're 2-2. See if we can get the positive record. Final round, we're up against an unknown opponent. We have a hand that is... I think this is a keep. So unknown opponent, but let's think about this. We shock this in. We put this in, putting like Zach Fair under there, and we immediately guide. Then the next turn we guide and we Esper Sentinel. And then we can fly in and then we can guide again. Yeah, this is a snap keep. Actually, I could guide and Esper Sentinel turn 1, and that disrupts them at least. I think I'm going to do that. Because I want to have some disruption on the table. Zach Fair is definitely the one going under the Mox, though. I'll pay the 3 life. Go ahead and cast this. And this is just like an all-in on the table. But sweepers are at an all-time low. If they're on like Jeskai, it'll be pretty bad. But like, we're probably screwed against Jeskai anyway. I'm going to do this first because I want them to counter this and not counter this. Okay. I guess I could have like played that out first because now they can counter that. Okay. And next turn we'll guide. And like, I understand it's suboptimal. I'm not going to get as many triggers now, but I will be able to guide in the guide next turn, assuming they don't disrupt me with a Wasteland. Okay. I think there's a decent chance they're going to plow here and just take the, eat the loss. Okay. They are casting something. We are going to get a card. Oh, Mockingbird. Oh, so cool. I love this card. Okay. So they'll probably copy this. Oh, let's copy our guide. Man, how cool would it be if they're on like my Mockingbird list? I'm like the biggest player of Mockingbird, maybe on MTGO. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to guide first. And then I'll just play this champion because he can get bigger and do more damage. Or do I just play the guide? I think it's fine to just play the guide here and worry about the champion later. I mean, like, who cares about his ability? The main thing is he procs the Guide-a-Souls. Okay, and now I can go to combat. I'm going to attack, and I'll buff this. And then, yeah, I'll buff this, and then they have to pay 3 mana to avoid perturbing my Esper Sentinel. You can buy them off. The more Esper changes, the more this guy, whom apparently you can buy off with mana. So I don't know. I don't want to be slinging, but I mean, like, you're basically paying a bribe for him to not like pass on information. Is kind of how I think of it lore wise. Yeah, we did 4 damage. I think we just pass. It'd be so cool if they were also on an energy deck, like the blue-white cats. I don't know what like my blue-black list also runs those, but this is the second Flooded Strand, which makes me think they're playing with the basic planes. If they have Wrath of the Skies, it's so devastating, but at least we'll get a card for it. Okay, there's Ocelot Pride. They are going to gain a life. They are going to start going to Cat Town. However, we're going to gain a lot. Oh man, that's really strong. They had a nutty hand. Okay, yeah, and they're going to get 2 cats, and that's going to double proc this. We're in trouble. Like, they had like the perfect fold to what we're doing here. I just have to hope to out aggro them, really. Which I guess Champion can help with. They're going to get City's Blessing pretty soon. We're going to have to do a lot of damage in the air. That's not a good draw. I don't think we show... Well, I'm going to play it out because I'm not going to show weakness yet. I don't think they're going to daze this. They might force it. It would make sense here to force, but I get to draw a card. So we gain 4 energy. Now we can go to combat. I'm just going to go like this. I mean, next turn they're going to be gaining a bunch of life. There's no... Well, let's see. If we attack in with this, they could double block, but we'll kill one of them. And I think that's fine. Wait. This is flying. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they could double block with these. I think I'm going to keep these back. And we are going to go ahead and do this here. They are going to be able to attack us in the air next turn and gain a bunch of life and proc their cats. I think we are going to lose. I'll play this out. It could be that they're not doing the full tempo version. They're actually just like normal cats without the tempo, but they're playing this as a way to just play Mockingbird. That's fine. They are not going to be able to cast any non-creature spells without triggering this with the power and toughness it has currently. Oh my goodness, what a nutty draw. Holy cow. Like, I never have hands like this when I play this deck where you've got like so many enablers. It's crazy. And then they had another one from hand. We're never catching up. Like, just trust me. I've been on their side of the table many times. Okay. That was insane. Okay, so Plow definitely coming in. I don't think there are any other changes we need to make here other than probably removing some mediocre creatures. It was crazy they didn't ever have to use this ability. Like, they never had to pay. I do think, like, Thalia could probably come out here. They might have a Caracas. I'm just not convinced she's going to be very good. Yeah, and they're playing Wasteland. I mean, they may be on my tempo build. Yeah, I'm just going to try to go fast. I mean, gosh, Mockingbirds abound. I don't mind losing to this deck, but I'd like to get a W and get a positive record if I can. Yeah, I mean, this is Guide. Uncounterable Guide. And then uncounterable Urdnan. Oh, uncounterable Spider-punk, I think, and then Urdnan on Spider-punk. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. I mean, the double Plow is the thing that's important. And I am going to lead on this because if they're going to waste me, I want them to waste me off Cavern, not off my white mana for Plow. Guides in. It'll really suck if they can just mock it immediately. Because I do need to spend a few turns setting up before I can start plowing stuff. Because I have to be proactive. I can't just not spend my mana each turn cycle. That wouldn't be good. If it's a cat, I might plow it just because... I mean, the guide is definitely dangerous. I don't really care if they guide into Pride and they have like one extra dude. Yeah, Prismatic Ending. I have 2 Prismatic Endings in my sideboard, so they could be on my list. Zach Fair, that's going to be a next turn thing. If we draw a land. I'm going to play him out with the +1/+1 counter out of respect for Urdnan. And next turn, assuming they don't waste us, we do, and assuming they don't remove this, they could be holding instant speed and they just use their Prismatic Ending because it was cheap to do so. If they have a Plow, then Urdnan comes in, targets this, and they just plow it. That's pretty catastrophic. If we draw another land, what I'll probably do is no, I can't Zach Fair and Urdnan, and because you need an extra mana. Yeah, they just had the Plow. But it's good that they're plowing here. Yeah, they didn't have a second land. All right, Thalia's Lieutenant is not good here. We could just Urdnan targeting Urdnan. That seems pretty weak. Like, he gets first strike, and he's a 2/2 first strike for 2. Thalia's Lieutenant is actually better just because he sees Urdnan arrive. It's just like an expensive effect. It's an expensive whatever the other 1-drop is. Apologize for not being able to remember the name of the cards that are in my deck. Champion of the Parish, that's it. So he's basically just Champion of the Parish, but he also buffs other humans when he enters. That's one way to think of him. Okay, they're pondering. They're probably going to find a land. If they find a Wasteland, it's pretty bad, especially if they go to our plateau. They did find a land. They have a lot of 1-drops in their deck. I imagine they found one. That's a pretty good one. All right. So, okay, that's great. So I'm just going to plow her now first before I do anything. She has to be killed. She's pretty bad, like pretty dangerous against our deck. Please force her. I'll just plow a second time, and then I'll play Zach Fair out. I'm going to just go ahead and fetch another plateau here before Days goes on the stack. And then that way I can still uncounterably. Actually, I should go ahead and just pay like this just in case they have a force. I need to remove her. She's bad news. Okay, and we got rid of her. Now I'm going to play this out. They could Days again if they want to. I don't think they're going to. They would really set them back in terms of like land development. What? You're crazy. Okay, but like I'm hitting for 1. I guess it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-for-1. I mean, I'm low as heck in cards here. I think I play Zach Fair out first. And then I can cast the other guy. They have a very reactive hand, whereas last time they had a very proactive hand. So we've seen double Days. I think they're basically on my exact 75 would be my guess. I will target this. So this is going to hit for quite a bit here. All right, that's pretty good. They're at 9. They're dead on board. They're not going to have the mana to Wrath of the Skies. I think we win this game. They could Tommy and immediately flip her, but I'd still just be able to kill him, I think. I could definitely kill Tomio. The scariest thing they could probably do would be Guide into Pride. Prismatic Ending. Okay. I will just play this out. Oh, wait. I'll play it out like this. I'll just attack him for 3. Or 2. Not very good. All right. So we had the plow up. We had the ability to make one of these indestructible and move Zach's counter over if they try to interact with Zach or if they try to interact with one of the other ones. He's the least important creature on the table. We definitely want to draw a land here. If they waste this, I'll definitely wait to plow until next turn cycle. Are there any 3-drops they could drop that could wreck my day? If they have the Harbinger of the Seas, that would be bad. I'm not going to wait. This is not indestructibility. Doesn't help here, so that's gone. Are you going to waste my cavern? You're welcome to do so. I hopefully will draw 1-drops from here on out and not get days. That would be embarrassing, but they've already worked through 2 of their days. All right, no guts, no glory. Let's try this. They did have the days. What a beating. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you want from me? I have to be proactive here. Like, we're getting very close to killing them. Okay, guide. That's scary. Don't have the pride. Come on. Is it Prismatic End? A Mockingbird? Okay. They can copy the guide. I'll plow the one with flying, I guess. Come on, creature. That's not a creature. I'm just going to go and play now. I guess I could have attacked. There's not like a way to blow them out. I'm just going to attack for 1 here. It's pathetic. If I draw Init or Inti, rather, then I can loot this away. So I'll just hold it. There's no reason to play it out. They're down to 1 card, but Mockingbird is a heck of a card. I could have just sacrificed this and moved this over there, but like then they plow this and I have nothing on the table. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that. They can gain. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, Wasteland again. Okay, they're hellbent. They shouldn't attack here. Just wait back. Unless they want to lose a life. Okay. And I think they're actually favored from here, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can do this. What a horrible draw. Yeah, we're just going to pass. I mean, there's no attack. Oh, that's sad. We don't even have a counter. Like if they just have another one. Okay, so this is where we start to lose. Because like any creature off the top and they have flying on one of those. Come on, give us a card we can cast. I'll play it out. Our deck is failing us here. We'll pass. Like if they just get lucky, like I know they have like probably they probably have 20 creatures in their deck. If they get lucky and draw one, because they have so many non-creature spells in their deck. And our deck is literally all creatures except for these moxes and this, these creatures. Or, the lands. Lands, moxes, and 4 plows. Okay, that's a great draw. I would love for them to plow now. That's fine. I'll just redeploy them. So they're hellbent. But they can, if they draw a land now, they can play that, and that unlocks a lot of stuff for them. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Right. Please don't draw the land. But they're going to draw a land or gosh, the best possible freaking card. We're so dead. They have to attack, which gives us a window, but they're going to gain so much life here. We'll see. I mean, we were lucky to draw this, but realistically, if they just draw land every turn, this will never do anything. They have plenty of blocking power. We have to overpower that somehow. Wasteland, I will use it. So I think I attack here, and then I can just do the uncounterable thing. Or I can kill Zach Fair to buff one of these. They may just not block. I'm going to come in. If they double block this, Zach Fair makes him a 2/3 and indestructible. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'll see how they block. But I have nothing to lose because I definitely want to get rid of this Zach Fair. All right, we'll see what they do here. They shouldn't block. But if they double block, it's okay. Okay, so now this becomes buffer. They take 2. Now I can just play my second Zach Fair out. I think they need to draw a Mockingbird or a cat. I think it exactly has to be that. Oh, or a freaking Tomio. Yeah, that'll do it too. Like really any creature, and now they're back in freaking like hitting me in the face for so much they can keep this up. What a devastating sequence of draws. Okay. All right. They are choosing to attack. I'm going to waste them off land. That is the correct play here for sure. Think we just have to attack and we have to hope that like this gets, they may not block. If they do block, I will absolutely happily sack Zach Fair to make this buffer. Huh. Do I go ahead and move this over? Because I can do 1 extra damage. Let's see. I hit for 3. All they need to do is keep one of these back, and then this doesn't work anymore. But like this doesn't do anything, frankly. If we draw the dude that gives everybody +1/+1 counters, then I can move this over. But who knows when I'm going to draw that? Yeah, I think we just let that go. If I draw that's probably the best draw in our deck. And they don't need to draw anything for the rest of the game. They don't need to cast anything. They just need to hit us for 6 each turn. Or even hit us for 3 and keep one of these back. They can also accumulate clues, even though they won't have the mana to cash them in for a while. Okay, they're coming in for all of it. 7. So we're dead next turn. And it's in the air. Oh my goodness, good games. All right, so let's do a postmortem. I mean, like, I don't mind being beaten by my own deck. I presume, like, I don't mean to be too presumptive, but like every single card they played was in the quantities that I'm playing in my list. And I believe I'm the only person who's been playing that, like the only creator who's been playing that. Punishing Waterfalls played it like a long time ago. Let's talk about the list. This actually felt way better than the other one. I think we had a bad break with the Doomsday matchup. I genuinely think we could have won that, and they got very lucky that they drew 4 lands organically because Doomsday wouldn't have cut it. I feel like this is like way better actually than the previous build.